Ben Shapira, welcome to Everyday Heroes podcast by Kofkin Bond.
Where do you want to be in 5 years? What's your strategy? Once we define what that is, what that looks like, let's reverse engineer how to get there, sacrificing the human-to-human customer service. I'm very, very focused on that.
Ben Shapira, welcome to Everyday Heroes podcast by Kofkin Bond. And no, I do not like Megadeth.
Oh, well, thanks for
Going to
calling.
Metallica with you was hard enough, but I'm not a fan of Megadeth. We're just talking off air. Sorry, guys.
I'm just saying one came from the other.
Well, I still don't, Well, I didn't. I quite enjoyed the Metallica concert.
I did too, actually.
Thank you for encouraging me to attend.
Thank you for inviting me to it.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. So, Ben, welcome to Everyday Heroes podcast by Kofkin Bond. Now, just for full disclosure, you are a client of Kofkin Bond, but we actually met through an organisation we're both members of called Club United Businesses. And I think the majority of people in our future-proof, founding partners of our future-proof business are Club members from that perspective. But I'm going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about you and your background, stuff that we can disclose on air, of course. So it's now, we first met at Cub in a call session that I was chairing. And I think what I want to touch on is it's created the organisation of Cub has created a really good grounding for, I think, us. We've made friends. Well, you and I have become really close friends. I got invited out to a men's group dinner through you, which a lot of those people of that, which will become really good friends, started from Cub as well. And now you're a client of ours, but we're also working together too. Can you just tell me what you believe the good stuff of Cub, and how we've all come together in a room and things like that together from your perspective? I have mine, but I'd like to hear it from your perspective.
Sure. Look, I joined Cub during sort of I think it was the second lockdown during COVID. And primarily I looked at it as an opportunity to meet like-minded people. But also I spent a lot of my time as a consultant and in between business ventures. And I work from home, and it can be quite isolating when that happens. But that's a positive and a negative. But COVID sort of made that even more pronounced. And I wanted an opportunity to meet other people, not just for business purposes, but to socialize, to meet people who
We've become good friends.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in fact, I'm going for dinner on Thursday with some other Cub members.
Well, we bonded over music.
Yes.
Our very first conversation was a beer and music at a Christmas function.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it was important to meet people from other industries, other backgrounds, other points of view, and just get an opportunity to not to network just for the sake of networking, but to really honestly learn from other people. And some people that I've met at Cub are significantly smarter than I am. And I really enjoy that because I get to learn from them, people from other industries, and get to learn the ins and outs of what they do. And then when I can, and it's requested, then to offer my services as well. Especially with startups and other businesses. And I suppose that's how, future-proof kind of has its genesis, is all the like-minded skills that we all have, and the sort of a common vision to help other businesses that I guess it came through you, but that vision sort of serves with a lot of us from Cub.
And I think to add to that is that the vision came from me, and thank you for saying that, but the vision actually came from my clients. And I'll say it in a roundabout way. And I'll give you the reason being, as you know, we look after a lot of SMEs from, one person businesses through to, 300-400 employees in respect to businesses. So we specialize in financial planning for SME owners. So we understand tax structures, we understand trusts, we understand offshore, and obviously understand investing and insurance and intergenerational wealth transfer. But in saying that, though, my business owners all had the same issues. I'm a business owner, you're a business owner. You just said 1 year, sometimes it's lonely. You're a successful guy, but sometimes you're working from home and it's lonely.
Yes.
And it's, and I I suppose I'm lucky to be in an industry where through professional development points that we all have to do, you tend to mix with other people. You tend to go to conferences with other people. You tend to, I've been 34 years in the industry in a couple of days on the 14th of February. And based on that, I'm fairly well known and know a lot of people. So, there's 20 of us going overseas together at the end of May for a conference, as an example. So that's good. You, successful guy, didn't have that. So going
Yeah.
to something like Hub is good. But what happens with Future Proof is that I'm speaking to somebody who owns a facility services business, very successful facility services business. They are struggling with their health. They might be struggling with their mental health. They might be working too many hours. They mightn't have the right people. They might have good people working for them, just not doing their job or in the right seat. Not that they're not good people. Their staff might just need a bit of motivation. Their team, from an employer's perspective, how do I protect my team's mental health now with the new regulations that are coming by law? These people just started cleaning someone's toilet and now employ 400 people. So from that perspective, they sometimes have a trusted source because they know that I have a vast array of clients and a vast array of people that I know. So, Tony, I've heard meditation is great. I've always wanted to learn meditation. I heard you say that you do meditation on podcast. How did you learn it? I'll introduce you to the person who taught me 15 years ago. Tony, I really love your new website that you just launched. Thank you, Ben. So it's that you've just launched, which will probably be out by the time we release this podcast. So, yeah. So, um, but from that perspective, how do I do a new website? I said, well, getting the website is easy. It's what do you want the website to achieve? What do you want it to do? How do you want it to feel? How do you want to have people to attract? Otherwise, it's just a brochure, junk mail. So we'll introduce you to Ben. In designing all that, we'll introduce you to Mona. You haven't got the right people in the right seats. We'll introduce you to Kylie. Um, you need the business structure to be able to emphasize everything in your business. We'll introduce you to Dana. You need your staff. I've always said that if I can get my team at 80% every single day, I am a very successful business owner. Um, who are we going to bring in to get your staff to 80%? Is it Jemima? Is your head right? Have you got the workplace safe and culture? These are all the questions I keep getting asked. The only questions I never got asked was about accounting or legal because they just have their own lawyers forever or accountants forever. And we speak to them usually about we need to structure things this way for this reason. And they take instructions, they get it done. So Future Proof is just bringing all these people into the room who I use and I trust. And most of you I met through Cub. And we've all worked together as a result. That's what Future Proof is about. So the thought process I had all stemmed from my clients asking, who do you do this? How do you do this? So all we're now doing is just bringing everyone into the one room under the one banner. That's why you're there.
And I appreciate the opportunity.
Your expertise. Let's talk about that. First of all, I want you to touch on your background. Okay, so you have been a founder of some successful tech, some really good stuff. You originally started at Clemenger's, I believe.
Well, I started.
Well, here, I think in Australia.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in Australia,
Those of you who haven't noticed, he has a bit of an accent. It's not Geelong. It's from a little city called Toronto, I think, tiny little city.
a little speck of a town.
That's just off that. You're the 52nd state, is that correct?
I think we've
Or is
been asked to be
Greenland
we've
gonna
been
be
asked to be the 51st, but apparently Minnesota wants to go first, being the 11th province.
There you go.
So who knows?
Yeah, yeah.
So I am originally from Toronto, and I spent
Which is not in America.
no, and I spent my first decade working. Started actually in 1994 building computers for the Toronto Stock Exchange through a friend of mine, Rob, who I met oddly enough because he's a DJ at night. So I met him at a club, and I was good friends with his girlfriend. And I spent sort of about a decade working as a freelancer for ad agencies, some of the big multinational ones, which have presence here as well, like McCann, for example, or Publicis. But I wanted a change of lifestyle. I wanted a change of pace, and amongst other reasons. And I moved to Australia, and I started working for a small agency to start with called G Digital. I was there for about 5 years. I was there when they had about 5 employees, and when I left, there was about 30. And I was really proud of what we did. I designed some award-winning websites, and my friend Kirill, for example, got awards for his coding. Um, and we did a lot of small businesses, mid-sized businesses, and we also worked with agencies as Overflow. And I got poached from there to go to Clemenger, and I was head of digital there for 2 years. I was also the executive digital producer as well. A slight change from hands-on graphic design skills to more managerial style. And I had, I think on average, I think we had about 40 some odd staff in the digital production team that I managed for those years. Learned a lot, made a lot of connections, worked with some uh, massive brands like Bupa, Mercedes, and like CUB. I have to say, it wasn't the most enjoyable experience, but I learned a lot and paid my dues. And when you have that on your CV, it pretty much opens up your doors to do anything. And when I left from there, I decided that I really didn't want to work with agency anymore. I'd already spent 2 decades, so I got a gig working with Repco. And in fact, I'm still really good friends with the CMO that hired me at the time, and I was a consultant, and I designed and managed the production of the first consumer website that they had. It's There's a few tweaks that they've made along the way. Fantastic team. Internally, their head of digital was brilliant. He's since moved on as well. And then I started Dineiro, Dosh, which was a fintech startup, working with the mortgage industry and the financial advisory industry, which I've just recently exited. And um, it's been a combination of things. I'm a graphic designer by trade, branding, websites, print collateral, that sort of thing. But every single opportunity that I have to get my hands dirty and create something new, work with people I've never worked with before, work in new industries, new tech, I've taken the leap and just jumped in and got my hands dirty, and I've loved every minute of it. I'm now going on 30 years in the industry, and I'm still learning.
So you started at the age of 3.
Yeah, I started. I think about my first website in 1996.
Yeah, my son was born 29 years ago.
Uh,
Yep. The In relation to what you do, we know what a website is.
mhm.
It was basically the yellow pages online, originally. Yes, originally we're talking about.
Yeah.
And obviously the internet has, you know, changed life forever.
Mhm.
Um, what you do though is something different. So you're actually, for full disclosure, once again, you are our fractional CTO in here, Chief Technology Officer. You work very closely with Shay. We have a rule in here: everything we do has to work under our DARES philosophy, and the first two initials in DARES are the DNA, which is digital and automation. And you've done a lot of work with Shay to be able to help us become far more efficient, which means we are far more efficient for our clients and we get work done far quicker as a result. So you do a lot more than just designing
Yes.
something. What is it that a client would look at you and say, why am I going to pay Ben? What is Ben going to bring? How is Ben going to help me with my bottom line? How is his thought process and creativity going to help me bring in more clients whilst making things more efficient and help our bottom line?
That's a great question. Um, well, actually, the reason why I left agencies is exactly the answer to that question, which is most agencies, most firms take a very superficial understanding of their client. And their idea is primarily just to sort of promote them, give them a fancy tagline. I try to invest myself with that client, as you do, actually, to understand them and to understand the ins and outs, the nuances of what they're trying to achieve. Um, with new businesses, I start from at an early stage doing branding and design, but I also help them develop their infrastructure.
What's the importance of branding?
Well, let me just say this. If you are embarrassed to send someone to your website, that's bad branding. It's your first impression. It's your opportunity to contextualize your business in a brand mark and some typography. The future-proof branding, for example, it tells a story. The mark explains your vision and our shared vision as visionaries guiding businesses, helping to create directionality in business, but as a board of advisors, a cyclical brand. Even the typography that I chose, Ubuntu, its actual meaning is community. And so I took those elements of the vision that you supplied me. I normally have like a 15-point questionnaire that I asked, but I think it was easier from long
I like to verbalize things, as you know.
yeah.
Yeah, we have long
To
dinners and
understand your vision
yeah.
and to contextualize it. And as you know, with the branding, I developed about 50 logos, but I only presented about 3, and ultimately had the members agree on which direction that they wanted to go. And I was really happy ultimately with the direction. But it's your first point of contact. It's your calling card. It's what people see. And also, people are walking down the street and they see a car pass by or a truck with your branding on it. It creates awareness. It creates repetition. And that branding can either make or break your business as much as your staff can, or your product, or your capabilities, your customer service. It's one element of a successful business, ultimately.
It's interesting, isn't it, when we think of branding in large organizations and, some that I will just, throw out there and you can make comments or you can throw some back at me as well. Let's start with the Nike swoosh, $70.
Yes.
Great book, Phil Knight's Shoe Dog. Unbelievable book. $70. I think in the end he did give us some shares.
They did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's
Yeah.
but that was, everyone knows the Nike swoosh.
Mhm.
Do they know the story behind it? Maybe not, but it doesn't matter. They know the Nike swoosh. The golden arches, McDonald's golden arches. You can see those golden arches from 2 kilometers away. And I remember my niece, as we were driving towards McDonald's once and down Keeler Road in Nidri, and we're driving there towards McDonald's, and you saw the big golden arches, and she goes, "Uncle Tony, E-I-E-I-O," because that's what she saw McDonald's as. Old McDonald had a farm. And I would go in there and order her vegetarian burger. In other words, burger without meat. So that was it. So because they were all vegetarians, but it was. I think that's another sign. You have Apple,
Mhm.
pretty basic, straightforward. But why does the apple look like it does?
The story behind the Apple logo is actually simple.
They all
Um,
are in simple way, but yes,
Absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. One, it was to be found first in the phone book, being an A. Second is the concept of thinking different, which is their tagline, is the idea of Newton, the apple falling on his head. So there's that, and also happen to be a fan of the Beatles, which is Apple Records. So there's sort of those 3 elements that tie into it. But a brand also
Why
goes
does the apple look the way it does?
was it's unfinished, right? It's never perfect, but the strive for perfection is what they're trying to get out.
Mm.
Yeah. But brands go beyond just a simple
Contest
logo
to
mark,
flying
right?
kangaroo.
Yeah. Coca-Cola.
Mm. The ribbon.
What's their brand value? Happiness. The idea of all their
Sugar.
advertising,
Sugar.
sugar water, yes, is happiness. So your brand gets by building your brand, building the value, building the continuity, and making sure it's consistent across all media takes effort. But by doing that, what you end up building is brand value for the client. They also can recognize that brand value from a distance. So people can recognize a Coca-Cola commercial not just from the logo, which often is only at the end of the ad, but by the ad itself. Qantas is the same. Some brilliant ads from Qantas, some very famous ones from like 80s and 90s. So branding is part of it. But you're asking to circle back to your original question. Um, as part of the idea of getting to know a business, especially for existing clients, is I conduct audits. And depending on what they're trying to achieve, I will say, well, where do you want to be in 5 years? What's your strategy? Once we define what that is, what that looks like, let's reverse engineer how to get there. What tools do you need? What platforms do you need to use? What functionality do you need? What companion systems? What outsourcing do we need to do? What partners do we need to find? If you are already online, for example, then let's look at your systems and say, is there a way to be more efficient? Is there a way to reduce costs? Is there a way to increase margin without sacrificing the human to human customer service? I'm very, very focused on that.
Isn't ChatGPT just going to take that away from us all?
Yeah, of course. Look, AI has its place, and it will take over a lot of the mundane, menial tasks that don't really
Like
require
performing
human
heart
intervention.
surgery.
Yes, absolutely. But like bank tellers, for example, retail sales, a lot of that stuff will disappear.
I do it online. I shop online.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, the only things that I would not buy online is stuff that I need to try on.
A new black t-shirt.
Yes. Yes. I have all black t-shirts. I have one red one, which is a warning sign that I need to do laundry. That's how it goes. It's been that way for 20 years.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's really how I get to know a client, is by doing the audits. And it's actually how Shay and I started working, is to understand what you're trying to achieve, and to sort of meet specific steady goals along that route. Which we met with an IT team last week to try and see if there's opportunities for reducing cost, for increasing efficiency, for finding a partner who understands what we're trying to achieve and wants to participate in that process, which is a rare thing to find as well.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Future Proof adds value for me. I have someone who's approached me to do a very interesting project, and it falls back not just on my branding experience, but infrastructure experience and my cybersecurity experience. But I won't be able to do it all on my own.
Yeah.
There's going to need to be legal advice, accounting and structure, HR. There's going to need a social media presence. There's going to be a dev back build that needs to be done. So that's 2/3 of the people who sit at the table at Future Proof.
Yeah.
So having access to all those like-minded professionals is one of the reasons why I joined. I know I can trust these people, but also I have all their capabilities at my tips of my fingers that I can access if and when I need to.
Yeah. And we were talking to, I was having a great conversation with Jem earlier, who, works with men's mental health, especially high performing males in respect to their mental health. And we were talking about and she's one of the founding members of Future Proof as well. And we were talking about the fact that you can have this great business, but if you're working too many hours, your mind isn't right, life is chaos, you're going to have the greatest brand in the world, and people can be really attracted to that brand, but if everything then falls away behind it. So you doing your job for people to be attracted to our organization, if then and this is the idea of Future Proof, if then we don't have the right people in the right seats doing the job, well, then that all falls away. All the work you've done is worth nothing if they don't engage Kylie to get the right people in the right job. All the work they have done is nothing if the founder is working way too many hours and not empowering his team to be magnificent as well. So this is where sometimes you could do the greatest job in the world for someone, but behind the scenes, everything is falling to pieces.
Yes.
And if everything's falling to pieces, it doesn't matter what great branding you have or what great technology you have and things like that. So I got asked the question, if you can cut costs out of your business and make things so much far more efficient for your clients, does that mean you reduce your fees? I said, no. It just means I can give my staff pay rises without having to increase my fees.
Yes. So we in the digital business, we call that the iron triangle.
Yeah.
You can have it fast, you can have it cheap, or you can have it good. You can only have two of those. You can't have all three.
Yeah, so fast and good is great.
Yeah. So I always say to the clients, the reason why I charge what I charge is I'm fast and I'm good.
Mm.
So, but I'm, certainly not going to be cheap.
Yep.
Yeah. You raised an interesting point about founding businesses and the struggle that a lot of businesses have to succeed. I've run 9 businesses in my life, and I'm a big advocate for surrounding yourself with an advisory group that can help you focus your skill, focus on product development or sales or marketing, but also who can open doors for you to help to simplify the problems that you're having. And it's really important because founders tend to feel they have to do everything on their own. And they're so focused on sort of the next steps, funding, expansion, whatever, that oftentimes they get into those situations where they're working 18, 20 hours a day. They're killing themselves for their business, and they don't have
they're
to.
killing their family, and they're killing their health.
Yes.
And they forget their kids' names. They don't turn up to birthday parties. It is a horrible, horrible death spiral.
Yes. And I've even seen, drugs and alcohol, eating their way into that as a coping mechanism. I've certainly fallen into the trap of using food as a coping mechanism.
As have I. You are looking rather tremendous now, my
No,
friend.
thanks. I'm making my way back.
We're still going to Fancy Hanks and eating a lot of meat on
We
Thursday.
We are indeed.
I need to book Fancy Hanks for Thursday.
Yeah.
So I haven't booked it yet.
I left a message in our WhatsApp group for everyone to confirm.
I did see you come through.
I was actually, I was saying to Shay should come with us.
He's down. Melbourne, definitely. Yeah. No, he's down here. He likes eating meat too.
Yeah, who doesn't?
No, that's very true. Very true. Okay, I'm going to finish this up with a few rapid fire questions for you without notice. It's your AFL football team.
I don't have one.
Your AFL football team.
I like motorsport.
Your AFL football team. I've told you what your AFL football team is, Ben.
Have I? Oh, okay.
They wear black as well, red and black.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
What,
your team.
Essendon?
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
You support.
No, my family supports St. Kilda, which makes a lot of sense because they haven't won anything. Okay,
doesn't matter. He was like, "We'll finish it."
I've been here for 18 years now. You'd think that I would have chosen the team, but no, I haven't.
Okay, your favorite form of music?
Heavy metal.
Your greatest concert you've gone to in the last 12 months?
Oh, Metallica for sure.
Yeah. It was the company, wasn't it?
More or less. Jem was fantastic. Yeah.
Sorry, Scott, you weren't bad either.
Yeah, and you said 12 months. Otherwise, I would have said Tool.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. Best concert you've ever been to?
Oh wow.
You love your music.
AC/DC was a phenomenal concert. It was a Thunderstruck tour.
Okay. Yes.
Aerosmith, Janie's Got a Gun.
I saw brilliant. I saw them in concert in Cleveland.
I would say
doing that tour.
Oh, we went to Cleveland. Wow, that would have been intense.
Wild.
I would say probably the best one.
Yeah.
Montreal, Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Faith No More.
Wow.
And I went both nights. So the first night, everything was cool. And the second night is when the explosion happened on stage and the concert closed and there was a riot.
That was Guns N' Roses with a headliner on that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was 90s.
Yeah, I think it was 95, 96, something like that.
I haven't seen Faith No More, but I do love their music.
Phenomenal. Yeah, they were great.
One word I can't say. Really good.
Kind of sad to see them as an opening act, but I mean, proportionally, I guess they were. But
I was quite surprised at how good Evanescence were as an opening act.
They were phenomenal.
I still can't say that word. So they were really good.
I'm actually a little bit. And the opening act, we didn't see. The first opening act, Suicidal Tendencies. Yep. I would have been surprised to have seen them actually because I only really know a couple of their songs from the 80s.
Yep.
But Evanescence was phenomenal. Amy's voice is just Yeah. I mean,
A
oh yeah.
band or a concert that you would love to attend, dead or alive, and that's not the band I want you to go see,
Mm.
that you haven't seen to date? One that you would have loved to have seen.
I would say there's two of them. One, I would have loved to have seen Pink Floyd in their heyday.
So Roger
Uh,
Waters, Pink Floyd. I saw their Momentary
mm,
Lapse of Reason tour, which was fantastic. I think that was
wow,
88.
great.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, loved it.
REM,
And I'm not a fan
oddly
of Roger
enough.
Waters. I do like his
No,
music, not a fan of him as a human
I
being.
100% agree with you.
Yeah.
REM.
I saw them at the Sydney Mine Music Bowl
I'm not.
in the orchestra pit, right at the front.
Oh, jeez, that
We
would have been
stand
brilliant.
next to Jim Carrey and Pete
And they're not
Sampras.
touring anymore. That's
No,
it. They're
yeah,
done.
yeah.
And I really regret, because being a metalhead and stuff, you look at sort of REM peripherally, and
More indie, realistically.
I loved their music and stuff. Yeah. Otherwise, I would probably say Soundgarden.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably a huge list of bands that I would have liked to have seen at
So
their heyday.
my look of surprise on your face is because when you said Soundgarden, I immediately thought of Savage Garden. No,
Oh,
Soundgarden's
wow.
more your
Okay.
style. So I was thinking Savage Garden, you?
No,
No, I'm not too sure.
Soundgarden. Yeah.
No, definitely say
Yeah.
Soundgarden.
Actually, so now that I think about it, the one band that I wish that I had seen live, Alice in Chains.
Okay. Me is the Beatles.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to have seen the Beatles.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I would have loved to have seen the Beatles in was it Giant Stadium in New York, their first concert in the US.
No idea.
Yeah, that
I know their music. I've listened to their music, but I've never really been a follower per se. I'm a metalhead. What can I say?
I thought you knew music, but we're going to move on now.
Fair enough.
Actually, I would have also liked to have seen Led Zeppelin in the heyday.
Zeppelin. Oh, Zeppelin. Yeah, for sure.
Yep. Okay, so tell me your favorite business book that you have read, whether of recent times or in total.
I'm not sure that I would really say that I read a lot of business books per se. I read a lot of weird stuff, like A Brief History of Time.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah,
that's why you and Spencer love a good conversation, and I zone out.
Yeah, I just find the business books are quite dry. I've read a lot of on
Have you read Shoe
branding.
Dog by Phil Knight?
No.
Read it. Great.
Okay.
Because it's all about Nike before they became successful and how they're bankrupt on a monthly basis, and he was paying off credit cards with credit cards. It is a phenomenal. Did I say it right?
Sure.
Oh, thank you. So it's a really good book. So it's that is a tremendous, and actually also I really liked, and the journey you started on it, over the last month. James Clear, Atomic Habits.
Okay.
Yeah, give that one a crack. I'd say it's a really good one as well. So I'm going to finish on this question. For you, success is?
Getting to know clients. I think the one thing that every business owner who provides product or service needs to do is to really get to know their client. It'll make them success will come with that. But you can't really do what I do and really be successful and help clients if you don't really understand who they are, what they're trying to achieve, what their visions are. Everything else is just.
Isn't it interesting, because you answer that from a technology perspective, and my answer, I would answer exactly the same, using the same words, from a financial planning perspective.
Yeah.
You get to know your clients. What is it? What is your end goal? What is it you want to achieve? How do we structure this correctly for you? So it's interesting, isn't it? Whether it's technology or whether it's financial planning, the exact understanding your client is the most important thing you can actually do.
Yeah, don't just treat them as a number. They're not just a transaction. If you do it the right way, they're a lifetime partner.
100% correct. And also end up becoming a great resource when your other clients need services. I know somebody who's really good at that.
Friends.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah, very true. As we have become good friends, my friend. So Ben Shapira, thank you for coming in on Everyday Heroes podcast.
Thanks for having me, man.
Pleasure.
The Kofkin Bond podcast is a product from Kofkin Bond & Company, which we are an authorized representative of Count Financial. All information in this podcast is for education and entertainment purposes only. It is not intended as a substitute for professional, finance, legal, or tax advice. The hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast are not aware of your personal financial circumstances. Before making any financial decision, you should read the product disclosure statement and, if necessary, consult a licensed financial professional. Do not take financial advice from the podcast. For more information, head to the disclaimer page on the Kofkin Bond website, or you can find resources on the ASIC website and find a registered financial professional near you. In the spirit of reconciliation, Kofkin Bond & Co. and the hosts of the Kofkin Bond podcast acknowledge the traditional custodians of the country throughout Australia and their connections to land, sea, and community. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people today.